Welcome to the Depth Dive. We've got quite a stack of source material today. It's from this wonderfully chaotic, sort of unscripted conversational show.
Yeah, really off-the-cuff stuff.
Exactly. And it's packed with these philosophical nuggets, things about ambition, art, and that really awkward spot where your dating life just slams right into your professional world.
Mm-hmm. And our goal here, it isn't just about sharing the gossip, the spicy takes, right?
Right?
We're trying to filter through all that noise. We want to understand let's say, the operating manual of a working artist. In this case, it's Joey Spacey. And crucially, the rules they kind of invent for themselves to keep everything, well, stable.
Keep the professional world from imploding under personal pressure, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And look, if you need one single idea, like a thesis statement for this whole dive, it's right there in Joey Spacey's, what he calls his "don't judge me" statement.
Oh, yes.
Which is,
yes,
creativity is arousing. I mean, that's just pure magnetic confidence right there. It really sets the stage for everything else, especially the cost of that drive.
It really does. And that phrase, it sounds simple, maybe, but it points to something deeply psychological. It frames creation as this intrinsically desirable thing, almost biological.
Like a need.
Exactly. So if creating is arousing, then it follows that anything pulling you away from that, lack of drive, boredom, just inertia, it makes life feel allay, dull.
Dull.
And that contrast, that's why pursuing creation and, importantly, protecting that process becomes totally non-negotiable for some people, especially professionals.
Okay, so let's unpack that drive. How does he actually translate that into, product? His current exhibition, it's called Monsters. It gives a pretty clear window into his process. He says he creates purely from his own mind, draws from everyday settings, sure, but the real key seems to be this reliance on lucid dreaming and just free-flowing creativity.
And what's fascinating there, I think, is the commercialization of the subconscious. It really is.
Oh.
Well, most people think of dreams as passive, right? Things that just happen to you. But Joey seems to treat his internal life, specifically lucid dreaming, like it's his primary resource pool.
Like mining.
Exactly. He's actively mining his deepest, most personal landscape for essentially marketable raw material. It's quite something.
That sounds, exhausting, but also maybe incredibly pure, taking the unedited self and just putting it out there.
Yeah, there's a vulnerability to it for sure.
And you see it in the output. Monsters are running now, but his next show, Crow, it's already on the calendar for January 2026. And that one's meant to be darker themes, larger works.
The volume alone tells you something, doesn't it? It suggests this process isn't just like a choice he makes sometimes. It feels more like an unavoidable, constant flow of material just bubbling up from inside. And this reliance on the personal internal landscape, the dreams, the subconscious is the main source of professional output that might really resonate with you listening, whether you're coding or doing marketing strategy or, actual physical art.
Because the raw material is you.
Precisely. So when the raw material is you, how on earth do you draw boundaries?
Well, that's the perfect pivot. Because if that passion, that arousal for creation drives your life, what happens when it becomes the central casualty of your dating life?
Yes. The messy part.
We shift from artistic purity to these really messy professional boundaries. And it starts with a classic problem, dating a singer-songwriter.
Hey, the classic litmus test, right? For how much permanent public exposure you can stomach.
Why?
Because for creatives, especially high-profile ones, relationships are almost like currency. And they often end up documented, maybe in gossip columns, maybe in a 4-minute pop song.
And Joey and the host, Nigel, they were both absolutely firm on this, like never get involved with a singer-songwriter.
What was the core fear?
That the failure, the bad breakup, it doesn't just end privately. No, it gets immortalized, often twisted, and some hit single. It's this public failure you just can't escape. It's everywhere.
It's inescapable. But then the third voice in that chat, Jay, he had this brilliant flip on it.
Yeah, he did.
He basically argued that living forever through song, even if the lyrics absolutely trash you, paint you as the villain. Well, that's what legends are made of.
It's a total disregard for privacy, isn't it? All in favor of contributing to the cultural record, no matter how unflattering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It perfectly captures that tension between wanting to protect yourself and wanting to live a life that, matters culturally.
But that whole singer-songwriter thing, it's really just the warm-up act, isn't it? For the much bigger, potentially more destructive problem. What happens when the relationship ends and you both work in the same very small professional space?
Yeah, this is what you call the curator's dilemma. And it's universal, really. And anyone who's successful and operates in a tight-knit field probably knows this feeling.
Hmm.
Joey admitted it himself. Romantic life is tough, despite his creative success, and particularly now because he's broken up with someone who also operates within that same art world.
And this is where the professional gatekeeping just gets, well, brutal. Joey stated it explicitly.
Yeah.
Because he owns claim and title in major exhibition spaces, meaning he's got real influence, real control.
Power, essentially.
Yeah, power. And he's often curating or involved in the very events his ex would want or even need to attend. She simply can't avoid him. The line was just cold. You cannot avoid Joey, ma'am.
Wow, the power dynamic underneath that is just staggering.
It is.
This isn't just about, like, awkward run-ins at gallery openings. This is about one person potentially holding sway over the other's entire professional path.
Right.
When your ex have that kind of gatekeeping power, a personal breakup instantly becomes a professional liability.
Yeah.
Huge one.
So Jay weighed in, again, with some practical solutions, maybe slightly cynical ones.
Okay, like what?
First suggestion was simple enough. Just date outside the art world for a bit. Avoid the overlap.
Okay, that makes sense. Logical self-preservation. What else?
Then they got into this idea of dating the 20%, which sounded a bit odd.
The 20%, what does that mean?
They were talking about how if you want to maintain your core peer group, you often end up dating within this small percentage outside your immediate shared professional circle, basically. Pursuing a fan or a groupie.
Ah.
Oh.
Okay, so is that really about strategic self-preservation, avoiding complications?
Or is it just kind of professional cowardice, insulating yourself from any real challenge or complexity that someone on your professional level might actually bring?
That's a fair question, a very fair charge. But then you look at the alternative, which Jay hinted was basically career sabotage for the ex who did the breaking up.
Right. He suggested her future chances of exhibiting in those key spaces are now slim to none because Joey was the one who made those introductions in the first place.
So when success hangs on curation, on who holds the keys, it seems professional dominance almost always wins out over romantic vulnerability. It just shows how deeply tangled personal influence and creative power really are.
Okay, so we've laid out this intense, high-stakes link between success and boundaries. Now, let's just pivot completely to these fascinating tangents that came up, which show how people find and define ambition in totally different ways.
Okay, where are we going now?
We're moving from Joey's highly curated, high-stakes art world to Nigel's new, very deliberate personal quest, the running monster.
Ah, the running monster. Right. So we were just talking about this complex, deliberate ambition tied to professional longevity. Nigel's new thing is totally different. It's pure, quantifiable personal achievement.
Yeah, and it was triggered by just one single 5K race in Kentucky. That one race somehow morphed into this self-declared medal-collecting monster.
It's funny how those things start, isn't it?
It is, and the goal he set herself is pretty ambitious. 5 medals by the end of the year. He's already got 2 physical ones. Banked, yeah, and 3 virtual ones lined up. It's just a great example of how a casual interest can suddenly snowball into this really focused mission that kind of defines your whole year. They were actually getting so into it, they were talking about whether the show itself should sponsor a runner or host their own race. The ambition is kind of infectious.
Well, it's the contrast, isn't it? You have the artist, Joey, whose success is qualitative, subjective, reliant on gatekeepers.
Yeah.
And then you have the runner, Nigel, whose success is purely quantitative. You cross the finish line, you get the medal, or you don't. That desire for clear, measurable achievement, even if it's not professional, that's a powerful driver for a lot of people, you know? It proves that new goals, things that really absorb you, can pop up from the most unexpected places.
Okay, so contrast that hyper-focused personal drive with the complete, almost collective lack of ambition embodied by Jay's next observation.
Let me guess. The fire hydrant.
The porch fire hydrant. He called it probably the most uninspiring porch ornament ever.
Huh. The baffling spread of the decorative fire hydrant. It is suddenly everywhere, isn't it? It's this weird cultural tick that just makes no aesthetic or functional sense.
None. Jay, apparently, he spends a lot of time driving for work, observing things, and he noticed this odd, confusing ornament just popping up all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not beautiful, it's not useful, yet it's spreading. Like some kind of, I don't know, benign garden weed.
And they had to guess wildly about why, right? Is it like A secret sign for firefighters?
Yeah, is it professional identification?
Hmm.
Or maybe some weird, unknown link to the fall season that everyone else gets but them. Who knows?
Regardless, it's an object that seems to exist purely through this passive, unexamined, collective
Yeah.
adoption, which is just a hilarious counterpoint to the very deliberate goal setting of the runner.
But what's truly great, the best part, was Nigel's reaction, hearing about this inexplicable trend.
He wanted one.
He expressed genuine interest in getting into pour tournaments himself, which led to Jay just being completely bewildered. Like, for what? Why does anyone want to do that?
And that's the thread connecting this whole segment, really. You've got this highly focused, deliberate ambition, running races, collecting medals, contrasting sharply with this passive cultural adoption. The inexplicable hydrant. It makes you wonder, why do we strive so hard for these measurable, self-driven goals? While at the same time, we just kind of accept and incorporate these confusing, maybe even uninspiring trends into our lives without really questioning it.
It just highlights the sheer variety of human motivation, doesn't it? Whether it's focused control of your body or just following the weird collective cultural cue.
So what does it all mean? I mean, we've gone from the passionate core of creativity, that arousing drive, to the devastating complexity of professional ownership when romance implodes.
Yeah.
And ended up contemplating the bizarre cultural spread of the porch fire hydrant. It's been a deeply chaotic but weirdly revealing look at how people navigate their worlds. It really has. And maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to sort of mull over. Think about that intersection again, the personal and the professional. If your actual livelihood depends on spaces you curate or control, how often does that need for professional dominance, that power, clash with your desire for just, authentic, boundary-free romantic connection? And maybe the bigger question, can creative power, that kind of influence, ever truly be separate from personal influence? Is it even possible?
Definitely food for thought. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
We'll catch you next time.